Hello! Today we're going to start with some basic colored pencil techniques. All you need are simple colored pencils like Prang or Crayola. If you have fancy colored pencils, that'd be even better. They have softer lead, they have more pigment, and they're more intense and blendable. But any kind of colored pencil will do. These are my favorites. We're going to start with our primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Then we'll start adding black or white to create shades and tints of our colors. Let's practice using the side of our lead or circular motions. We're going to try and lay down our colored pencils in our primary colors in a gradient. So we'll work with heavier pressure at the top of our box to lighter pressure at the bottom of our box. That simple. Now let's move to blue, our second primary color. Red, blue, and yellow are primary colors because they can be mixed to make all other colors. As long as we have these three, we can make beautiful, vibrant works of art. Yellow, our third primary color. The side of the lead allows you to avoid scratching the paper. It allows you to build up layers, and it allows you more control of your tool. Okay, let's move on to secondary hues. On this worksheet, I think it's important that you practice mixing. So let's make purple first. We'll lay down our red, again using the side of our lead, working from darker to lighter, pressing harder where we want it dark, and letting up pressure where we want it light. Then I'll layer over my blue, and we should get a nice violet. Sometimes, to get a better violet, you need a slightly different color of blue, or a little bit of white. I'm going to mix just a little bit more to try and get that violet. Maybe work in the opposite direction. There's looking pretty good. And throw a little white over the top to intensify that violet and blend my two pencils. You can use a lighter color like white or tan or peach to blend your colors. They also make colorless blenders that are made of wax that'll blend your colors nicely too. Let's move on to orange. I'll lay my red down first. And then I'll throw some yellow over the top. It is smart to start with your lighter color. I should have done yellow first. You can experiment next to your box and see which you'd rather lay down. Red or yellow first to make orange. And last but not least, let's make some green. So we'll use our lighter color first, our yellow. Still creating that gradient, heavy pressure at the top, less pressure at the bottom, and our blue. Now it's always a good idea to use a handheld sharpener when you're using colored pencils. That way more of your pencil can go on the paper instead of in the sharpener. Just gently layer and blend until the color you want shows up. Okay, so we've used our primary pencils to create our secondary hues, and now we'll talk a little bit more about gradation. I'm going to pick a bright color like red, and I want to go from as dark as I can get my red to as light or pale as I can get my red. And again, remember, we're going to use the side of our pencil, and we're going to build up layers of color. We can also put our marks in multiple directions. Then we'll see the color instead of the tool mark on the page. Letting up pressure to go as light as I can with my tool. Okay, now let's talk about tints. Tint is any color plus white. So pure hue means just my color, like I did above with my gradation. White, of course, can be the white of the paper or the white of your pencil. And in the middle, we want an even mixture of the two. So I'll start with my color over here. Again, red, just so you can see what it looks like. And I like to carry this pressure across the boxes so that I know I'm getting an even application of my color. I'm letting up my pressure here because I want it to be half red and half white, making a nice pink. Pink is a tint of white and red. And then I'll layer my white over the top to create my tints. There we go. And no white in my pure hue box. Let's do the same with our shade, except this time we'll use black instead of white. A shade is any color plus black. So we'll start with our pure hue. And work across our page, gradually lessening the pressure. We'll come back in with my black colored pencil. So side of the lid, kind of a circular motion, and just a little less black in each box. 50-50 mix in the middle, should look like a nice even gray. And a teeny bit in the next box. So far, we've talked about primary hues, red, blue, and yellow, secondary hues that are made by mixing two primary colors, a gradation where we move from dark to light, tints, any color plus white, and shades, any color plus black. On the other side of our worksheet today, we're going to talk about different methods of application. We have hatching, cross-hatching, scumbling, and layering. These are 4 simple techniques for laying down any art supply that you want to create a piece of art. So hatching is lines in any one direction, and let's continue with the gradation from the top of our box to the bottom of our box. So more lines and heavier pressure makes a darker application of the tool. Fewer lines spread further apart with less pressure is going to make a lighter application of our colored pencil. Okay. Cross-hatching is lines in multiple directions. It shouldn't look like a perfect tic-tac-toe grid. It should be mark making on a surface. So don't spend lots of time lining them up carefully. Press hard where you want it dark, make firm, bold marks, and then press less lightly where you want it lighter. Gentle, soft marks on the page. Scumbling is using that circular motion. So we're really going to emphasize a circular application of colored pencil. This is a great way to get a really soft, fluid application of your color. The softer the lead of your pencil, the smoother the application of the color. Scumbling is a really great way to fill in texture on a paper. It's a nice way to create shading or a gradient. And last but not least, let's see what layering looks like. Let's use yellow and red this time. I'm going to blend from one color into the next. Later this week, we'll talk about color schemes. I like to give my students a list of 8 basic color schemes to get started with. We've already covered primary and secondary.